Welcome back, guys. So in my last video I showed you guys my kayak electronics for the 2021 KBF season on my Hobie Pro Wrangler 14 kayak. It's a 100% chance of rain today. The temperature's in the 30s, so I decided to stay inside this weekend. But today I would like to tell you about the battery system that powers all the electronics on my kayak. I want to start off by saying that I am not sponsored or endorsed by Nocqua Adventure Gear. And all the equipment and the products that you see in this video today were purchased out of pocket with my own money. So for the past year, I've exclusively used the Nocqua Adventure Gear, their 10 amp hour Pro Power system, and it's powering my Lowrance Elite 7 Ti fish finder. I have the 3-in-1 total transducer, so I can see 2D sonar, structure scan, as well as side scan, and I have the Lowrance 0.1 GPS antenna also in this same exact system. So that 10 amp hour lithium battery from Nocqua is powering all those electronics. When I get a full charge, I get anywhere from 12.4 to 12.7 volts, and of continuous use on the water with electronics that I run, I'm getting anywhere from 9 to 10 hours of consistent use before the volts start to drop around 9. The screen starts to blink, flicker, and then the fish finder goes dead. So I don't know what kind of fishing that you guys do, but I can tell you most tournaments, if you're on the water at sunrise, depending upon the time of the year, 7 a.m., 7:30 a.m., maybe a little earlier, most tournaments end around 2. So having almost up to 10 hours of continuous use from the lithium battery pack is more than enough power to do the way I fish. Now if you start adding bigger screens, some of the new high-tech devices like Active Image and 360, yeah, you're going to need more power. But I have found that just utilizing one 10 amp hour battery for how I fish and the electronics that I use is more than enough. So I want to kind of do my own review and give you guys a unbiased, real life perspective of the Nocqua 10 amp hour battery. And then again, this is my experience with this battery. This is not anyone else's. I'm not going off of I just purchased the battery and I want to talk about it. I'm giving you a 1-year view of how this battery has benefited me. So the package that I have is the Nocqua Adventure Gear Pro Power Kit, and basically the components of what comes in this kit. So if I can position so you guys can see it. So in this kit you have the 12-volt battery charger. You've got some heat wrap or some heat shrink tubing. You've got 2 marine grade butt connectors. You can either get the 4.4 amp hour Pro Power lithium battery, or you can get the 12 volt 10 amp hour, which is the kit that I used. As you can see here, it's 10 amp hours, 22.4 ounces or 1.4 pounds. It's got a 6-month warranty. So this kit right now, the 10 amp hour kit, that comes again with the battery charger, with some of the actual power the connectors, and the charger, sells for $129.99. So like right at $130. I saw another YouTube review the other day, and it was basically showing the Nocqua versus amp voltage or amped lithium batteries, Dakota lithium batteries, and there's a couple other brands, and they also compared Nocqua, and they had Nocqua listed as the highest cost per amp hour at $13. And I can tell you that was actually an incorrect review, because you can buy just the 12 volt battery from Nocqua, 10 amp hour, for $99.99 on their website. So if you do the math on how much the cost per amp hour for the 10 amp hour, if you buy just the battery, it's $10 per amp hour, which is the exact same price as Dakota Lithium and some of the other brands that are out there. Now, when you add the battery and some of the power connectors in, yeah, it's going to increase the price. But if you were to go buy a high-quality lithium battery charger, you're talking 30, 40, 50, 60 more dollars on top of the $10 per amp hour, if you will, cost. So when you look at this, the actual amp hour per cost would be $10 per amp hour. So a 10 amp hour battery will cost you around $100. I want to talk about some of the pros and some of the cons with this device that I've experienced. So here's the entire battery here. This is the 10 amp hour battery. It's super compact, super small. You can actually fit two of these side by side in the Hobie battery connector, or the battery holder that sits in the front of the Hobie kayaks. There's also a couple other ways that you can store these, but they're super lightweight. So you're not going to get a smaller packed lithium battery on the market as to what this one can do that I'm aware of. So it has a nice little nylon case on it, and then when you open it up, you'll see that the actual battery is got this silicone cover all the way around the battery, and so it is water resistant. And these guys, Nocqua Adventure Gear, they're showing that these batteries are designed to go on stand-up paddle boards, and they're going to get exposed to water. And I can tell you the way I have mine positioning in the battery holder, there's been times where water has went down my rod tube holders in the front of the Hobie PA14 kayak, and water has got down in there, and water has got on this battery, and I've had zero issues with that. You have a connector that comes off that's pre-wired into this battery, and this is the AWM style connector and battery. So right from the manufacturer, you don't have to do anything other than just plug this in, and it's a two-pin connector, and it's male and female, and the female side of this connector has an O-ring on it and a thumb lock, so you actually can screw down, and this will be a watertight seal. This kit comes already with this pre-wired, and it also has the other end of this to where you can wire into your fish finder. Is exactly what I did. So again, I have the Lowrance Elite 7 Ti. The unit's a couple years old now, but it's a great unit, and I have no intentions of getting rid of that unit or updating it, at least this year, possibly next year, but not this year. So getting back to the Nocqua battery, the cool thing about this system is it's a plug-and-play system, and it's watertight. So literally on their website, they sell various different connectors, like a split Y connector, to where you can power two different type of your electronic devices off of one battery. They also have the thing called a new product now called the Smart Connector, to where you can take two 10 amp hour batteries and it'll actually connect them together, and they're not running together at the same time, but once the voltage drops to a certain level in your primary battery, the system will automatically switch to your secondary battery. So now you're looking at approximately 20 amp hours of power if you were to use the two battery system. And so that's a really cool feature that I'm looking at actually upgrading on my kayak myself. They also have a USB system, the USB connector part, that I'm looking at actually installing into my bucket on my Hobie kayak. But it has a battery indicator in the lights inside the USB adapter, as well as it's again plug and play into this system. And so you can basically get an entire power management system with the switches, with two batteries, everything you basically need for right around $250-300, and that would be 20 amp hours of that would be two of these battery packs. That would be the Smart Connector, the Y splitter, and the USB adapter, all for right under $300. I just like how lightweight it is, how compact, and how it's a plug-and-play system. I can tell you with my experience, again, I'm getting around, so on a fully charged battery, with the amp hour draws that I'm using on my Lowrance system, I'm getting right around 9 hours of continuous use, which is more than enough for a trip, a one-day fishing trip, if not going into 2 days. You also could run your charge your GoPros or your phone off of this one system as well, if you needed to. I want to talk about the battery quality, or the as another pro, I guess, the recharge rate. So it takes me approximately 5 to 6 hours to get this charged completely when it's less than 9 volts and it's pretty depleted at that time. So it takes about 5 hours to fully recharge. This particular unit, you can see this is actually their old logo, was made in 2018. I bought this the kayak that I currently have with this battery system. It was already installed by the first owner, and he used it exclusively as his only battery system before I purchased it from him. So this battery is actually second hand, and it's going on 3 years old. And I'm still getting up to 9 hours of continuous use, which is, if you talk about recharge rates and these type of lithium batteries versus Dakota lithium, which is like the lithium ion phosphate or whatever. Yeah, they talk about 2,000 recharge cycles on that one, but I can tell you now I'm going 3, and I fish exclusively fresh water, but I am out on the water every weekend, if not every other weekend. Even in the wintertime, I've got videos up. You guys can see I'm on the water a lot, and this battery gets a lot of usage. It gets a lot of recharges, and the memory it's still doing really well. I haven't noticed any drop in the quality or the amount that it can be recharged. Talk about I guess a couple of the cons. Those are all more the pros. The cons, you're going to have to wire in the system. So if you're not familiar with this this type of 2-pin system, you're going to have to wire that in if you want to keep it all going on this one system. So if you're more of a if you have different connectors, you may have to switch over to this connector. But again, once you get everything on this system, or if you start with this system, it's super easy to go with. Talk about another one of the cons, I guess, would be the price. There are cheaper options on the market. If you look at sealed lead acid batteries, they're going to be much cheaper. They're not going to last as long. They're going to be much larger than this. But that is something to think about, where this is coming in at around 10 amp hours for $100. There are some cheaper options on there. And other than that, guys, I mean, that is honestly the only cons that I've had with this entire system, and those are all unbiased positives to using this Nocqua system. Again, I'm not endorsed by Nocqua Venture Gear. I'm not sponsored by them. This was all purchased out of my own pocket, and I have exclusively used these devices, so I feel like I can give you guys a realistic, unbiased review of this product. I can't really testify to the other products on the market because I'm not using them, and this is what I've been using. So unless something drastically changes, this is what I'm going to run in the 2021 KBF season, and I'm going to continue to stick with this. And I plan on adding in a second battery into my system and using the smart connector with the Y splitter to be able to now power USB to charge my phone, charge my GoPros. And this is the plan. This is the system that I plan on sticking in. So thank you guys for watching. If you have any questions, please leave them down in the comments box. I'll be gladly to try to answer everything that I can for you guys and give you my personal experience with using this system. If you haven't, please like, share, and subscribe. I'm really trying to grow my channel. I don't have a ton of subscribers. I'm still trying to get more followers on Instagram. But I want to give you guys some real-world, realistic fishing and some unbiased reviews. So thank you guys so much.